Thank you. Speaker of the National Assembly, Deputy President Paul Mashatile, Ministers and Deputy Ministers, and Honorable Members. Ke leboha nakonyana e ke fiwang yona hore ke be tlaleo ya mosebetsi wa ofisi ya President. This debate on the presidency budget vote takes place, Speaker, at a time of both change and continuity. As we enter a new democratic administration, as we define the priorities of the government of national unity, we are building on the progress made during the course of previous administrations. We have made significant strides over the course of the last 5 years to restore our country and our economy. We need to sustain the work that has been done and see many of the measures we have taken through to completion. At the same time, we need to appreciate the changes that have taken place in government, and we need to respond to the mandate from the electorate of our country. As the presidency and as government, we are focused on the priorities I outlined in the opening of Parliament address last week. Firstly, we intend to drive inclusive growth and job creation. Secondly, to reduce poverty and to tackle the high cost of living. And thirdly, to build a capable, ethical, and developmental state. As the strategic center of government, the presidency bears the responsibility for coordinating and leading the work of government to ensure that these priorities that are outlined are implemented. At this crucial moment in our country's history, as we confront many challenges, what South Africans really do want is to see action. Our job is to deliver on the commitments that we have made as the government of national unity, and central to the work of the presidency is to engender cooperation, partnership, and high collaboration, both across government employees, as well as working together with social partners and other stakeholders. This approach has proven successful in mobilizing a broad spectrum of resources and capabilities to undertake actions that have the greatest social and economic impact. Fundamental to the approach of this presidency is to draw on the expertise, the experience, and capabilities in government and across society. During the previous administration, we established a number of entities, both in government and outside of government, bringing together a wide variety of people to provide insights and inputs based on expert knowledge and sound evidence. The Presidential Economic Advisory Council, on which sit some of the outstanding economists, not only in our country but across the world, together with ministers, played a vital role in advising both the President and indeed our various government departments on the most important economic challenges facing our country. The Presidential State-Owned Enterprises Council has been pivotal to the fundamental overhaul and architecture of a number of our state-owned enterprises and plotting a better and more effective future for these state-owned enterprises. On addressing climate change, one of the most challenging developments of modern times, the Presidential Climate Commission brings together a unique blend of different social stakeholders to guide our climate actions, including our approach to a just transition to a low-carbon economy. Among other things, the Climate Commission has made valuable input into our Just Transition Investment Plan, Future Energy Mix, and Climate Change Act, which I signed into law just last week. Another important advisory body is the National Anti-Corruption Advisory Council, which was established to advise government and mobilize society around a comprehensive program to end corruption in all its forms. The Presidential Working Group on Disability is another critical forum where we have perfected working together with various civil society organizations and government in order to advance social and economic change which affects some of the most vulnerable in our society. The working group is an important partner in the development and implementation of policies and programs to uphold the rights and advance the interests of persons with disability and the other vulnerable people in our society. We are grateful to the members of these advisory bodies and working groups for the contribution that they have made and continue to make towards South Africa's development and transformation. It has proven that working together as government and various other groups in our society, we are able to achieve more. The Presidency has prioritized greater cooperation between the spheres of government. While this has been vital during crises like COVID-19 and in responding to the natural disasters that our country has seen, we have encouraged intergovernmental cooperation to strengthen governance and to respond more effectively to the needs of all South Africans. The promotion of cooperative governance has been strengthened through the implementation of the district development model, which places the district at the center of an integrated approach to development. The appointment of ministers and deputy ministers as champions of the district development model has in many ways enhanced intergovernmental cooperation from national, provincial, as well as at the local level. With the support of the President's Coordinating Council, which brings together the leadership of the three spheres of government, national, provincial, and local government, we see a greater role for the district development model in addressing problems at local level through better use of the powers, capacity, and resources of national and provincial governments. Cooperation between the three spheres of government is also evident in the Presidential Imbizos program that we embarked upon with a great deal of much more energized activity in the sixth administration. The Imbizos Makgotla are a vital tool of participatory democracy. They allow communities to interact with the President, with ministers, deputy ministers, premiers, MECs, as well as our mayors. with a view of finding practical solutions to specific service delivery problems that they have. Whenever we hold these imbizos, our people do take up the opportunity to raise issues that are of concern to their communities and to themselves. And we do follow through on many of the issues that are raised. The Deputy President plays a leading role in engagement with different constituencies and sections of society through bodies like the South African National AIDS Council and the Human Resource Development Council. The DP convenes a broad cross-section of stakeholders to address challenges that affect our people. The DP has been working closely with our military veterans to address their concerns and to ensure that this group of South Africans, who in many ways were even prepared to pay the ultimate price so that we can achieve our freedom. The DP focuses on addressing their challenges and so that they can receive the support that they need to lead decent lives. A number of issues will continue to be addressed that affect them, their health, education of their children, their housing challenges, as well as being able to eke a livelihood and to get the proper pensions that they should get from the state due to the sacrifices that they made. The DP has also been working with traditional leaders, and he will report more when he makes his own input. Traditional leaders to ensure that they are able to effectively undertake their responsibilities and to contribute to the development of the people they serve. During the course of the 6th administration, we were able to address the challenges of a number of our traditional leaders, including indunas, who were raising the issues that affect them. Understanding that science, technology and innovation are essential to the economy of our country, so that our economy can thrive and also for societies to prosper. Last year we held the inaugural Presidential Science and Technology and Innovation Plenary. This will continue as it has proven to be an important forum where we bring together scientists and innovators to exchange views on how they can contribute to the continued growth of our economy. The initiative brings together government, academia, civil society and industry to collectively drive South Africa's national system of innovation. The inclusive and consultative approach that the presidency has taken to address the country's challenges will serve us well as we embark on the national dialogue that we have committed to convening, together with other key role players in our country. Our overriding priority for the next 5 years is to achieve more rapid and inclusive economic growth so that we can create jobs, reduce poverty, and build a more just and equal society. To achieve this, we must configure the system of government to support a significant expansion of investment in infrastructure. We have seen the value of collaboration in pursuing this objective. Through Infrastructure South Africa that we set up, we have been able to draw on private sector expertise and skills to improve the preparation, the financing, and the implementation of infrastructure investment. Today, we have a fairly sizable pipeline of infrastructure projects due to the preparatory work that has been done and engendered by Invest South Africa. Through the Infrastructure Fund, we are going to explore new approaches to blended financing of infrastructure, using the fiscus to leverage additional funding from the private sector, from development finance institutions, and indeed from other sources as well. We have been working closely with independent power producers in steering their projects through to the construction phase, contributing significantly to the reduction in the severity of load shedding. We are going to continue working with companies, financial institutions, and business organizations as government, both South African and international, during the course of our ambitious investment drive over the next 5 years. In 2018, we set a target of mobilizing 1.2 trillion rand in new investments over 5 years. By the conclusion of the 5th South African Investment Conference last year, we had exceeded that target, raising over 1.5 trillion rand in new investment commitments. Now, this was a significant achievement. A vital part of this work was undertaken by our investment envoys that we appointed to engage with potential investors and identifying opportunities and challenges. Our investment envoys were Trevor Manuel, Mcebisi Jonas, Phumzile Langeni, Jaco Marie, Jeff Radebe, and Derek Hanekom. We're extremely grateful to them for their tremendous work and the contribution that they made to raise the level of investment in our country. We have had an opportunity to visit many of the factories and projects that have been built or expanded as a result of these investments, and we have seen the many jobs that have been created. The work of the red tape reduction team that was established in the presidency under the leadership of Mr. Sipho Nkosi has been possible due to close cooperation with various departments, public entities, and spheres of government, as well as support from the private sector. The team is looking at capacity building approach to tackle red tape in provincial governments and a pilot to support 3 city municipalities with reform action plans to address inefficient business processes. Now, through this experience, it is clear that the removal of red tape is a cross-cutting exercise that requires a coordinated and integrated approach. Significant progress was made during the 6th administration in implementing reforms to enable economic growth with a focus on modernizing network industries. These reforms have been undertaken across government with the support of Operation Vulindlela, which, as we know, is a joint initiative between the Presidency and Treasury. This progress provides a solid platform on which we will build a sustained increase in the rate of economic growth and a reduction in poverty, unemployment, and inequality. By alleviating load shedding, improving the performance of the logistics system, reducing the cost of data, improving water supply, and enabling the country to attract the skills that it needs, the reforms that are already underway will provide a significant boost to the economy in the medium term. In addition to these reforms, support for repositioning of strategic state-owned enterprises by strengthening their balance sheets and improving their operational performance while also enabling higher levels of private investment in infrastructure and support to the work and the investment initiatives that they embark upon. A recent independent study released by the Bureau of Economic Research from the University of Stellenbosch estimates that the reforms undertaken by the auspices under the auspices of Operation Vulindlela could increase the GDP of our country to 3.5% by 2029. Apart from the changes that these reforms are making to the country's productive capacity and competitiveness, they are also contributing to greater business confidence. As confidence grows, so does investment, creating jobs and supporting demand. This is a virtuous cycle that leads to higher growth on a sustained basis. One of the greatest impediments to economic growth has been the electricity crisis, which the presidency has been instrumental in addressing. The National Energy Crisis Committee, which was established in 2022 to oversee implementation of the Energy Action Plan, is chaired by the President and coordinated at a technical level by the Director General in the Presidency. With the support of the National Energy Crisis Committee, there's been a marked improvement in the performance of Eskom's power stations, which produce the bulk of our electricity. Regulatory changes have enabled substantial new investment in electricity generation that measure up to tens and tens of billions of rands. This week, the country will have gone for 120 days without load shedding. And this is something to be celebrated. However, it is too soon to claim victory. Our electricity system is still vulnerable, and we cannot yet rule out, possible challenges going forward. Drawing on our experience in tackling the electricity crisis, we established the National Logistics Crisis Committee and adopted a freight logistics roadmap. The roadmap provides a clear path to resolving Transnet's immediate operational challenges while reforming the logistics system as a whole to achieve a competitive and efficient rail network. Operation Vulindlela has facilitated support to the Department of Water and Sanitation to re-engineer the water use license application system and clear the backlog of applications. Some of you might recall that it used to take up to 3 years for those who want to use water to get a license. It has now been reduced to merely days, and we really applaud the work that is being done in water and sanitation. And this has led to unlocking estimated 56 billion rand of investment due to regularizing the whole licensing process as well. Through Operation Vulindlela, we have supported reforms in telecommunications, aimed at lowering the cost of data and improving network reach and quality. This quality still needs to improve, as a number of areas in our country still do not have the level of connectivity that we would like to see for a middle-income country like ours. We have also provided support to the Department of Home Affairs in its efforts to review and reform the visa system to attract skills and investment and boost tourism more specifically. Operation Vulindlela approach to focused collaboration across government has truly proven its worth and is recognized as one of the better ways in which we can engender intergovernmental cooperation, but more importantly also cooperation with other key role players. We will now be embarking on the second phase of Operation Vulindlela. The immediate priority is to sustain the momentum and follow through on the implementation of current reforms to realize their full impact. Now, while these reforms are a necessary condition for growth and job creation, they are not sufficient to drive structural transformation in our economy. Our economy still needs to be transformed, and the transformation process must of necessity include ensuring that those who were in the past prevented from playing a key role in the economy of their country do indeed play that key role in terms of control, in terms of management, and also in terms of the ownership of the economy of our country. In its second phase, Operation Vulindlela will therefore focus on reforming the local government system, harnessing digital public infrastructure, and addressing spatial inequality. We will work closely with the provincial and local governments to address service delivery challenges in line with our constitutional mandate. We will coordinate a whole-of-government program to drive digital transformation of government and modernize our digital public infrastructure. Finally, we will turn the attention of Operation Vulindlela to spatial inequality, which remains a key barrier in our country for economic growth. The presidency remains seized with the challenge of youth unemployment. Nearly 4 years ago, in the wake of COVID-19, we launched the Presidential Employment Stimulus, which has created 2 million work and livelihood opportunities. 2/3 of the people who have participated in these programs are women, and around 84% are people between the ages of 18 and 35. And that has made a huge impact. Another initiative is the Presidential Youth Employment Intervention, and central to this is the SA Youth Mobi, which is a zero-rated platform for unemployed young people to access opportunities for learning and earning. Those who participate, numbering about 4.4 million, are often able to find opportunities as employers who want to employ young people trawl that website and find people who are employable. The Youth Employment Service, which was launched together with the private sector in 2018, is gaining significant momentum, having created over 150,000 work experience opportunities for young people. The partnership that government entered into with organized business in July last year has yielded impressive results in the areas of electricity, freight logistics, and we have started to make progress in our joint work to combat crime and corruption as well. As we move forward, we will look to our partners in business and labor to put greater emphasis on our agreed program of work on employment. This includes measures to support small, medium enterprises in townships and rural areas, creating new jobs in areas like tourism, agriculture, and the green economy, and providing work experience and demand-led training for young people. The Presidency has been working with other departments to develop an integrated anti-corruption strategy with a focus on household livelihoods. We have held 2 presidential health summits and adopted a presidential health compact which outlines the priorities we have identified and collectively agreed to undertake to strengthen the health system. One of the most important areas of progress has been in the implementation of the National Health Quality Improvement Plan. This initiative has led to the establishment of more than 420 quality learning centers, covering over 3,500 health facilities. And as a result, we have been seen significant improvement in patient satisfaction across various areas. A vital part of the drive to provide all children with a conducive environment for learning is the provision of school infrastructure. This includes the provision of safe and appropriate toilets. In 2018, we launched the Sanitation Appropriate for Education program, SAFE, known as the SAFE Initiative, to mobilize public and private funds to replace pit toilets. Unsafe toilets have been replaced in 92% of schools needing safe toilets. The remaining 280 schools, which Minister Wahube and Deputy Minister Mhaule are going to focus on giving attention to, are scheduled for completion within this financial year. One of the most important areas in which the Presidency has been involved in is the struggle to end gender-based violence and femicide. We have held 2 presidential summits to bring together government, civil society, and other stakeholders to forge a common national response to this horrendous pandemic. Working together, we've been implementing the National Strategic Plan Against Gender-Based Violence and Femicide. As part of this plan, we are focused on prevention measures, such as educating boys and young men on greater equality and their role in empowering girls and young women. We have made important progress in implementing the actions outlined in our response to the recommendations of the State Capture Commission. This includes the work of our law enforcement agencies to bring perpetrators to justice and to recover stolen funds, as well as the legislative and other changes needed to strengthen the fight against corruption and prevent state capture. The Presidency plays a pivotal role in ensuring that the work of the Special Investigating Unit has an impact and that individuals involved in wrongdoing do face the consequences of their actions. The Presidency has forged a close relationship with the SIU and law enforcement agency to monitor the implementation of the recommendations for criminal, disciplinary, and administrative actions arising from SIU investigations that involve state employees. The Presidency forms an integral part of the international relations and cooperation work, leading the country's representation in international fora and in bilateral and multilateral engagements. Our approach to foreign policy, which is essentially led by the Presidency, is informed by an understanding that our national interests is closely intertwined with the goal of achieving progress in Africa and implementing Africa's Agenda 2063. Guided by the framework document on South Africa's national interest adopted by Cabinet, we continue to work for stronger economic, political, and social links with a wider range of African countries, and advancing economic integration in Southern Africa and across our beloved continent, Africa. We continue to use important international platforms like BRICS and the G20 to advance the interests of the African continent and the global South, and have been vocal in calling for the reform, as I said, of the United Nations Security Council and other multilateral institutions to make them a lot more representative than they are at the moment. As a country, South Africa has been at the forefront of continental and international health initiatives. During our chairship of the African Union in 2020, South Africa was pivotal in the efforts to secure COVID-19 vaccines and other medical supplies for the continent. And indeed, this work went even beyond our own continent as it involved other parts of the world, particularly the Caribbean. As the AU COVID champion, we as South Africa remain involved in driving pandemic preparedness and other initiatives to promote the African health agenda. Guided by the fundamental principle of human rights and freedom, in December last year, South Africa instituted proceedings against the State of Israel, arguing that its actions in Gaza violated the Genocide Convention. The Presidency, together with the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, will continue to participate in the Ukraine Peace Forum, a group of countries committed to finding a solution to the conflict taking place in Ukraine. We will continue to push for the parties to this conflict to talk to each other and find a just and lasting peaceful resolution. Yes, we continue to work to silence the guns on our continent. The efforts that we are involved in Mozambique and indeed in the DRC are all aimed at ensuring that the conflicts that are ongoing there are brought to an end. And we will continue to work with various of our key role-playing countries to make sure that we realize this objective. In the last 5 years, it has been a time of recovery, of renewal for the country. It has also been a time of rebuilding and refocusing for the presidency. With relatively limited budgetary resources, we have had to build capacity and act with urgency to tackle pressing issues. We now have a much firmer institutional platform on which to build. We have learned many lessons and have developed new ways of working in the presidency. As we enter a new era of inclusive growth and job creation, we will be able to put the capabilities of the presidency to much better effect and use. And we will continue to mobilize the skills, the capabilities, and resources that reside in the state. As the presidency, we will work to ensure more effective coordination, cooperation across various entities and structures of government, and collaboration. We will continue to draw on the knowledge and expertise of individuals and organizations across society. We will continue, Madam Speaker, to build meaningful social compacts to overcome the challenges that confront our people. Yes, we will continue to lead the work towards a better life for all South Africans and an inclusive economy that leaves no one behind. I hereby commend this budget vote of the Presidency to the National Assembly. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll now recognize